I think the Queen's duty and her service, her tolerance, her commitment to others, I think that's all been incredibly important.
He wasn't allowed to touch that car. There were cameras on, staff watching, and the Queen Consort's son just 10 feet away. But something felt off when an unregistered black estate car drove into Clarence House, looking heavy. It didn't seem normal, safe, or like family business. Moments later, a royal guard opened the trunk and discovered something that could reveal the monarchy's biggest secret about Princess Diana's death. When Prince William arrived, what happened next surprised everyone. Before we tell you what was in that trunk and how it changed everything, ensure you are subscribed and have the notification bell on. Also, leave a comment about where you're watching from. What you will see next is one of the most shocking moments behind palace walls: the suspicious arrival. On a grey morning in London, everything felt hazy. Sergeant Arthur Banbridge noticed a black estate car driving through the gates of Clarence House, and something felt off. It wasn't a full alarm, just a nagging instinct that something wasn't right. Camilla had a simple event planned later. Nothing extravagant, just enough to keep the staff busy. Arthur, 36 and experienced in his role for 15 years, stood by the inner fence with his rifle strap resting on his shoulder, scanning his surroundings. He'd learned to trust his instincts over the years, and this car didn't fit in. It had no palace sticker on the dashboard and no smooth entry. Arthur ran the license plates through his handheld device. Nothing came up. The driver stepped out. Thomas Parker Bowles, Camilla's son, dressed sharply in a fitted coat and designer sunglasses, with leather bags over one arm. He didn't acknowledge the guards and walked straight to the south wing, looking tense and burdened. Arthur's attention was drawn to the car's rear, which sagged low. He realized it was a rental, not flashy, but a practical choice for transporting something or someone significant. Arthur rechecked the plates manually, but there was still no match. He briefly looked through diplomatic plates and emergency logs. Nothing there either. 3 failed checks suggested the vehicle might have been stolen or erased from the records. For 15 years, he had seen many unusual situations: speeding cars, lost tourists, but this felt different. An off-the-record family visit raised alarm bells. He stepped back and quietly noted in the log. Protocols are activated automatically. His tablet responded quickly. Priority noted. Keep watching. Wait for backup before taking action. The upper team was monitoring the situation closely. Arthur moved nearer, appearing relaxed. However, 2 things caught his attention. The trunk was equipped with heavy-duty hinges, and the lock showed signs of tampering. He circled the car, hands behind his back. His mind raced. He typed a quick message on the secure line. Freeze valet on the black estate. Plates missing. Keep back. Request inspection clearance. 30 seconds later, he received a green light. Permission granted. The message was just a formality now. He had the go-ahead. Whatever was inside that car was now his responsibility to find out. The hidden conversation. In the south wing, thick curtains blocked out the gray light, making the drawing room dark and heavy. Camilla paced back and forth, dressed in a cream boucle outfit that felt like armor. She wore a bright sapphire pin and white gloves that she kept adjusting but never took off. Her hair was stiffly styled, but her hands were restless, gripping her phone tightly, as if it might bring good or bad news at any moment. She tapped on the clock, the screen, and the door. The door clicked open quietly, and Thomas slipped inside, closing it behind him. The atmosphere felt tense. He didn't say good morning, but handed her a slim envelope from his coat pocket, his fingers shaking. Is there trouble? Her voice was tight with worry. That man who's been watching you, the one with a stare like ice, he said. I traced his license plates every which way. Nothing came back. He's tied to Banbridge. Camilla's expression twisted into a frown. Charles always thought he was tough. What did you find out? Nothing at all. And that's the problem. He knows people don't just stalk for fun. Thomas glanced towards the window and back, as if he was looking for an escape. One more thing. I saw him reading a novel on his tablet. Too much chatter for a regular log entry. Camilla clenched the envelope tightly, making it crumple in her grip. Notify the barracks. Wellington must know there's an issue. She stepped towards the curtain, opening it slightly to peek outside. How much time do we have? Minutes, maybe seconds. It depends on whether they're nervous about him at the palace. She opened the envelope slowly. 4 black and white photos fell out, looking singed at the edges. She quickly scanned them, then returned them to the envelope with care. I told you, the cassette is what we need, she said, placing it on the desk like a risky gamble. But these photos tell a story. Photos usually draw more attention than tapes. Thomas said, sinking into the fireside chair and appearing worn out. Do you think he'll talk? No. Her tone was firm and steady. He's not ready yet, but when he does, we'll be the first to know, armed and prepared. She turned back to the window, speaking quietly but with intensity. A legacy means nothing without control, Tom. Diana, she had passion but no control. Me? I have the evidence. Her phone vibrated in her hand, buzzing like a trapped insect. The screen lit up with a number she didn't recognize. He was watching the car. Panic flushed over her face. She rushed to the door and locked it quickly. You were supposed to take the coupe, she said. It felt too cramped. This situation needed more space, Thomas replied, slumping back in the chair. Besides, nobody follows me anymore. I'm off your radar, remember? Camilla turned to him sharply, her gaze focused, like she noticed a flaw in their plans. Off the radar? Nonsense. You're still involved. Always have been. That's why I put you in that position. Clear and simple. For this, the trunk inspection. Arthur Banbridge stood by the black estate in the courtyard, his gloved hand ready but not moving quickly. The trunk smelled like a dangerous secret, one that could ruin careers. His tablet chimed. Override locked. Green light. Inspect. Arthur took a deep breath and walked over calmly, moving with purpose. He rested his hand on the remarkable metal trunk just as Thomas Parker Bowles stepped out of the south wing, adjusting his cufflinks. Is there a problem? Thomas asked sharply. Good afternoon, sir. I need to check this trunk. License plates are missing, and there are flagged modifications. The override is live. Thomas laughed mockingly. This is my mother's house, not a delivery service. It's Crown property, sir. I need to check it, Arthur replied, standing firm. Corporal Jennings approached quietly for backup as Camilla rushed out of the house. What's going on? She demanded, glaring at Arthur. Why are you touching my son's car? Ma'am, this is just a routine check, Arthur said calmly. Was this cleared with tea? She asked sarcastically. Arthur remained silent. Jennings spoke softly but firmly. Ma'am, we have to follow the override. There's no alternative. Do you think I bow to soldiers in uniforms? Camilla shot back. I'm just following the rules. Titles don't change them, Arthur said steadily. The courtyard fell silent as Thomas puffed up defensively. We're just visiting family. Is this really necessary? No, sir. There's something hidden here, and I will find out what it is, Arthur insisted. Get your foot off that trunk, Sergeant. Now, Camilla ordered. Arthur raised an arm to block her. Ma'am, please step back. She looked ready to strike. I will make you pay for this. Thomas, feeling defensive, asked, Do you even know who you are dealing with? Yes, and I know who you're not, Arthur replied without looking away. With a click, the trunk opened, making a loud noise in the quiet courtyard. Inside was a black steel crate meant to hide essential secrets. The temperature gauge said it was in perfect condition. What he found inside was not vacation gear, but something much more serious. There were old, damaged photos, yellowed envelopes addressed to William and Harry, and a cassette labeled Paris 97. Beneath all this, there were hospital records from her last hour. Arthur pulled out a black folder with the words, Royal Intel, Rogue Stash. The weight of what he found hit him hard. This was not just a stash, it should be destroyed. Everyone around him looked scared, and Arthur realized he had entered a trap, opening Pandora's box. The explosive confrontation. You had no right to do that. Camilla's voice rang out sharply, freezing the guards and making the aides hide in the bushes. Arthur slowly closed the crate as if he were sealing a dangerous substance. This is standard procedure, ma'am, he said calmly. Camilla stepped forward with clenched fists. This is treason. You'll be removed from every list in the kingdom. Arthur replied coolly. Good luck explaining why your man is carrying sealed files about Diana's last moments. The courtyard erupted into chaos as staff dived for cover. Jennings stood by the crate, arms crossed. Camilla laughed, but it sounded nervous. That's nonsense. They're all fake. Arthur held out the folder firmly. So why is this sealed? It has the royal seal. It's about you. She moved closer. It's private. It belongs to me. You didn't seem to care about her work, Arthur said quietly. You dismissed it. The people loved Diana, and you're burying her memory. She hesitated for a moment. You don't know what she was like, out of control. Or paranoid, Arthur countered. Someone wanted to silence her. Camilla glared at him. She caused chaos. Everything she touched turned to trouble. Yet 27 years later you are still controlling her story, he said as he leaned in. Then release the tape, Arthur challenged her. Camilla's confidence cracked as she glanced at the crate. Under her breath, she muttered, I told him to destroy the fake. Arthur inhaled sharply. Jennings asked, "What?" Camilla scrambled to regain control. "That's not what I meant." Arthur closed the lid firmly and turned to Jennings. "Prepare for a Class A pullout. Restricted transport." Camilla lunged forward. "You can't take that." Arthur stepped closer, firm. "If you touch that box, you will be arrested." She looked him in the eye, and the tension was thick. They both realized the game had changed, and whatever happened next was out of their hands. The breaking point. Thomas Parker Bowles lost control when the wheels stopped crunching on the gravel. He bolted away, pushing past a valet who looked shocked. Thomas reached for the crate like it was a lifeline. "You don't understand," he shouted, panicking. "That was buried for a reason." Jennings tried to block him, but Thomas pushed him aside. Gasps came from the crowd in the courtyard. Jennings stumbled but regained his balance, glaring at Thomas. Arthur was already moving closer, quick and silent. "Halt! Right there," Arthur commanded, his boots echoing on the stone. Thomas ignored him and lunged for the crate. Arthur's hand hovered near his sword but didn't pull it out. "Last warning." Now Thomas hesitated, fists shaking. His eyes darted around. The crate, Camilla's shocked expression, and people peeking out from behind curtains watching. "This stunt earns you a medal?" he shouted, his voice breaking. "You think you're the hero? You're just a nobody in a uniform, messing with what's not broken." Arthur stood firm. "The crown isn't like a movie set. It doesn't change for favorites." Thomas stepped back, angry. "You never even knew her, mate. You're just a background player, a tool, and you just broke it." Arthur's gaze was steady. "Sometimes, you have to fix what's broken." By now, the crate was in the air, lifted by solid workers in uniforms who meant business. Thomas watched helplessly as they loaded it into an SUV and locked it up tightly. "Where's it going?" he asked, his voice tightening. Arthur looked him straight in the eye. "Back where it belongs." "You're ruining everything. You don't even know what's inside," Arthur nodded slowly. "You do. And that's the point, William's shadow." Camilla struggled to speak. "Play that tape?" The whole house falls apart. Arthur smiled slightly, as if to say, "Maybe that's okay." The SUV doors slammed shut, sealing the truth inside. Then, a black Land Rover pulled in silently. Prince William stepped out unexpectedly. He arrived early, sensing something was wrong. He saw the tense scene. Camilla rigid, Thomas sweating, and Arthur standing still near the getaway car. The air felt heavy. Aides rushed in with clipboards and coffee, but got dismissed. William approached Arthur directly. "Sergeant Banbridge." "Sir." "What happened?" Arthur replied, "We found what your mother never got to say." William's expression changed. He focused intently. Camilla reacted, saying, "William, don't believe this guard's story. It's just a conspiracy." He raised a hand to silence her, then carefully showed some of the folio from Paris 97, with the raw label visible. William leaned closer, recognizing Diana's handwriting. His breath caught, and he slightly slumped, understanding this ghost too well. William hovers over an envelope labeled "For William." He hesitates, then sees the tape marked "Hospital Logs, Last Hour." His silence feels heavy. "How long have you been holding this?" he whispers. Arthur answers calmly, "Their hands, sir." William studies the call logs and timestamps that mark her last moments, realizing she was under watch like a test subject. "She knew," he says softly. The setup. The tension in the air thickens. He seals the envelope and nods with Arthur. No one else is watching, just a grunt standing firm. Camilla opens the door, her voice soft yet pleading. "William." He doesn't react. "Don't." The tension is thick. Camilla looks desperate while Thomas appears scared. "That hall?" "His watch," William states firmly. "Not seeing straight," Camilla retorts, moving closer. "You'll drag us all back." William silences her with a glare. "One more word?" It stays out of the family album. Camilla's face pales. Thomas steps forward, hesitantly asking, "Picking him?" "Nah." Picking straight, William turns away, leaving her fuming. Arthur stands by the crate and says, "Maybe she shouldn't have been zipped with her mic still on." Silence follows. Camilla storms off and Thomas follows her, looking defeated. William stays behind, then warns Arthur, "Hope you realize the risk you just took." "Understood, sir," Arthur replies as he locks the crate. They walk into the courtyard where staff move about, hiding the signs of Camilla's anger. Arthur drives beside William. They don't speak, share a heavy burden. William looks at Arthur. "Hope you understand what you just protected." "It wasn't mine to guard," Arthur replies. "It was hers." William nods sharply as Arthur pulls out a small black tape, Diana's unheard voice from years ago. He puts it away, knowing it could spark a change. So should someone break the rules to bring Diana's truth to light? Is William supporting his mother a brave choice or a dangerous one? What would you do in Arthur's position? Keep the tape or follow the rules? If some secrets are too loud to remain buried, hit that like button. Stay fierce.